You know, when we look up at the night sky, it's so easy to just get completely captivated by the brilliant light of the stars. But what if the true structure of the universe is actually being shaped by massive, invisible forces working entirely behind the scenes? Well, in this explainer, we're going on a bit of a cosmic detective story. We are going to uncover the hidden physics. We're talking gravity, electricity, and magnetism that literally sculpt the cosmic structures we see. And to do this, we're focusing our lens on one absolutely remarkable subject out there in the deep sky.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Meet Caldwell 32. You probably know it better as the Whale Galaxy, or maybe by its catalog name NGC 4631. It's hanging out over in the Canes Venaticus constellation. Now we're seeing this edge-on spiral galaxy from the side, which totally gives it that distinctive, elongated, whale-like profile. But right off the bat, I want you to notice something absolutely crucial. It is not swimming alone. Just above the main body of the whale, there's its tiny sidekick. That's a dwarf elliptical galaxy known as NGC 4627. And look, this isn't just some cosmic photobomb. This is a highly dynamic, interacting cosmic pairing. In fact, this interaction is our very first major clue into how these massive galaxies actually evolve.
But to truly appreciate what we're analyzing here, we've got to wrap our heads around the staggering scale of the system. Caldwell 32 is located 30 million light-years away from Earth. That means the light capturing the system, it left the Whale Galaxy 30 million years ago. Now, despite that immense distance, in astronomical terms, it's actually considered a nearby, edge-on galaxy, which makes it practically a perfect laboratory for researchers. So when we're talking about forces acting on this galaxy, we are talking about energy fields stretching across tens of thousands of light-years, manipulating matter on an absolutely incomprehensible scale.
So here's a question for you. What invisible forces are really shaping this cosmic leviathan? Because, if we only rely on our traditional optical telescopes, we're merely seeing the stars and the dust that outline the shape of the whale. But honestly, that starlight is almost an optical illusion of stillness. It completely hides the turbulent, massive, unseen forces that are actually pulling the strings. To understand the true mechanics of Caldwell 32, we have to look way beyond what human eyes can see and peer deep into the radio and magnetic spectrums.
Think of galaxies like cosmic icebergs. What we see optically, that's really just the tip. While an optical view shows us this glowing disk of stars and some obscuring dust, when you train powerful radio telescopes on it, like the Carl G. Jansky Very Large Array or the Effelsberg telescope, it reveals a completely different beast. The radio view uncovers this massive, thick, gaseous halo that extends way, way beyond the disk, and this halo is glowing with synchrotron emission. That's the radiation produced by high-energy electrons spiraling at nearly the speed of light through incredibly powerful magnetic fields. So suddenly, this galaxy isn't just a flat disk of stars anymore. It's a massive, three-dimensional structure, completely wrapped in a cocoon of energy.
Right, so our first invisible sculptor is gravity, and it is engaged in a massive cosmic tug-of-war. Remember that tiny companion galaxy, NGC 4627? Well, the gravitational dance between Caldwell 32 and that smaller companion acts as a literal physical sculptor. That gravitational pull is actively stripping gas right out of the whale's disk. This interaction, along with another neighboring galaxy, NGC 4656, generates an incredibly asymmetric and massive radio halo around Caldwell 32. But here's the thing. Gravity doesn't just pull things apart. It also triggers intense activity within the galaxy itself, driving a really powerful galactic wind. That wind carries highly charged particles, cosmic rays, high up into the galactic halo. It's just this violent, incredibly dynamic process of matter being pulled and blown out into the vastness of the cosmos.
Okay, so now we need to shift gears from the physical pull of gravity over to the invisible web of electromagnetism. And according to the research, you simply cannot understand magnetic fields in space without understanding electric currents. They are inextricably linked. Cosmic magnetic fields are intricately tied to flowing electric currents. It's actually a lot like a simple magnetic circuit where a varying flux induces electric currents. Out in space, massive flows of charged particles, plasma, act as the literal wires of the universe. The mechanical energy from the galaxy's rotation and those powerful galactic winds interacts with these currents to generate just immense magnetic fields.
Let's move on and see how this actually builds into a foundational concept for cosmic circuitry. It's called transformer action. It works like this. Step 1. A primary electric current in space changes in strength. Step 2. Because electricity and magnetism are linked, this change produces a time-varying magnetic flux. Step 3. That changing magnetic flux then induces a secondary electric current.
And here is the kicker. If that primary current strength waxes and wanes, those secondary currents will actually reverse direction. This means the magnetic fields they create will also reverse their polarity. So this relatively simple electrical engineering principle scales all the way up to explain how massive reversing magnetic structures can be generated out in the deep vacuum of space.
And this brilliantly illustrates what that looks like. When astronomers map out the galaxy, they look at these incredible vectors. This is the culmination of some really deep radio astronomy, using Faraday rotation. That's a technique that essentially lets us see invisible magnetic fields by measuring exactly how light twists as it travels to us. Now, for years, astronomers were kind of puzzled by Caldwell 32 because it seemed to have these really unique vertical magnetic fields shooting right through its center. But these highly detailed observations finally confirm something absolutely incredible. The disk of the galaxy does possess a plane parallel magnetic field, just like a lot of other galaxies. But extending far out into the halo, we see this dramatic X-shaped magnetic field structure. The galaxy is quite literally wrapped up in a highly organized, coherent magnetic web.
To ground all of this immense physics into just a single measurable data point, researchers calculated the equipartition magnetic field strength. And the magic number? It's 9. Specifically, the average magnetic field strength within the disk of the Whale Galaxy is 9 microgauss. Out in the halo, it drops just slightly to about 7 microgauss. Now, I know, 9 microgauss might sound incredibly weak, especially compared to the magnet holding a picture on your refrigerator. But think about it. When you multiply that force across a volume of space 30 million light-years away, a volume encompassing an entire galaxy, it represents an almost incomprehensible amount of energy. It is literally strong enough to dictate how cosmic rays travel, how gas flows, and ultimately how the entire galaxy evolves over time.
So the crucial point is, what ultimate shape do these massive fields actually take? Well, the research reveals something that sounds almost sci-fi: giant magnetic ropes, or GMRs. These are massive, large-scale magnetic structures that extend completely perpendicular to the galactic disk. And thanks to that high-resolution mapping of Faraday depths we talked about, researchers discovered that these ropes feature alternating directional reversals, just like that transformer action we went over earlier, where changing currents cause magnetic polarities to flip. We're seeing vast ropes of magnetic energy shooting out of the galaxy with their fields alternating back and forth in direction. These GMRs act as the final invisible sculptor, dictating the shape of the massive radio emissions we're observing.
And guys, this is exactly what makes this research so unbelievably thrilling. The observation of these alternating giant magnetic ropes in the northern halo of NGC 4631 represents the very first time such magnetic reversals have ever been observed in an external galaxy. No way, right? It's a massive, groundbreaking confirmation that the complex electromagnetic physics we can test right here on Earth and observe on our own sun is actually operating on a galactic scale millions of light-years away. The Whale Galaxy has basically given us our first definitive proof of this massive, structured cosmic circuitry at work outside the Milky Way.
To wrap up our investigation today, I want to leave you with a really thought-provoking quote straight from the research on cosmic magnetism. It says, "Ghost cavities are filled with magnetic fields which are released into the cosmos when the cavities burst apart." I mean, wow. It forces us to realize that the universe isn't just a bunch of empty space dotted with stars. It is a living, breathing network of invisible electric currents and massive magnetic ropes that are constantly shifting, bursting, and flowing. When we finally understand how these invisible sculptors shape a Leviathan like the Whale Galaxy 30 million light-years away, well, it leaves us to wonder, doesn't it? What unseen invisible forces are silently passing through our own world right now?